Last week's Coronation Street sent shockwaves around the Corrie community with the surprise return from the dead of Becky Swain. Now, the director behind those scenes and many other standout moments from the past decade is here with me today to talk about how he brought them to life. Jordan Hogg, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you for having me. It was really nice to be here.
Yeah, lovely to have you. It's always great to have like behind the scenes chats. Great having the cast on, but learning a bit about what happens behind the camera is always really fascinating to me and our listeners as well. So I'm looking forward to this.
Cool.
So before we start chatting about last week's episodes, because I definitely want to hit that early on, can you tell me a little bit about give the listeners a rundown about what the directing job entails? How does a script that you receive turn into what we see on screen from your point of view?
Yeah, basically, I mean, if you boil down directing to its core, what it actually is, it's actually telling the story. So it's almost like you're reading the script to the audience. So your job as director is to visualize what's on the page and heighten the emotions of every scene and make the audience feel the story, not just understand it, but they've got to feel it as well. That's what good direction is, and you use all the tools at your disposal: the camera angles, the focus pulling, the blocking, to heighten that. So when
Hmm.
you get a script, you sit down, you do your camera plans, and you try and visualize it in your head of how you want to film it, how you want it to look, and where you want the characters to move. Then you discuss all the motivations with the actors and why they're in the scene and
Hmm.
where the characters are going and things you want to highlight. So yeah.
Okay, okay. So getting into last week's episodes then, how did you feel knowing that you'd be in charge of such pivotal scenes there with the whole Swarla drama?
Oh, I was massively excited because it came to me quite late that block.
Oh yeah.
And I just heard, oh, it's a big one. There's big things happening. So I was like, oh, right, cool. So I'd done a lot of the Swallow stuff beforehand,
Hmm.
and obviously when I saw Becky was back, I thought, oh, this is going to be classic Corrie. This is going to be played over the next 2 decades, and people are going to remember this
Yeah.
moment and how it is. It's almost like when Tracy hit Charlie over the head with an ornament. It's
Yeah, yeah.
one of them moments. So I really wanted to do it. I'm a big fan of Corrie, and I wanted to do it justice and make it kind of iconic. And I wanted to do the slow reveal I did behind coming out from behind Vicky, and I wanted to see as little as possible of Becky
Mm.
before I revealed her.
Mm. Although there'd been a few clues the previous week that possibly Becky was back, we saw somebody kind of hiding behind the rover spying on Lisa. Did you know going into the episode that it was still going to be hopefully a surprise for most of the viewers going into it, as in it wouldn't be revealed beforehand that Becky was going to be there?
Yeah, absolutely. I got to read the scripts from the week before and the week after, so you kind of know what's coming. So you always look for tentpole moments in your block, if you like, the bit
Mm.
stand out bits and things it's going to be remembered for. So we had to do justice and we had to present Amy
Yeah.
as shockingly and as surprisingly as possible.
Were you
Um,
nervous at all that it was going to get out? Because so much that happens on Corrie do go into the spoilers to try and get people watching, but there are moments like this that they want to keep secret. Were you just kind of really fingers crossed
well,
that
I
it
was, I
stayed
was in, I
secret?
was in a, yeah, I was in a bit of a hairy situation. I was on another podcast a couple of months ago,
Mm-mm.
and I did the podcast interview very much like this one, but it was like the afternoon after I'd read the script.
Really?
I had to be really, really careful of I was very mindful of every word that came out of my mouth, and I got through it without mentioning anything
Yeah.
as well. So it
Yeah.
was, yeah. So you've got to be. I mean, I cherish Coronation Street more than anything, so I have to really. I do everything I can to
Yeah.
look after it, best results. So yeah, it was a
Yeah.
bit.
I love how it wasn't revealed. I went into the episode thinking, yeah, I think she's going to be here, but it was really brilliant that they were able to keep it a surprise for lots of viewers until the moment that she came out. It was brilliant. What would you say was the most kind of important thing that you had to get across from that scene with the Becky reveal? What did you need to get right there, did you think?
It was. I had a lot of discussions with Vicky about what the reaction would be to seeing Becky
Mm.
because it's not an emotion you can draw on as an actor.
No, it's not.
Nobody's there's probably about a handful of people in the world that have ever experienced this. So it
Most of them
was
soap characters as well, isn't it?
yeah, exactly.
Happens on EastEnders, happens on in real life. I don't know.
Yeah, so it's kind of getting that level of authenticity across. I mean, not just from Vicky, but from Amy as well. Amy had to do that because obviously it's something that her character had pictured in her head over the years. So it's trying to find that right degree without overplaying it and without being hokey. And I think Vicky hit the nail right on the head. I
Oh,
think
she
she
did.
really got there. And I mean, I've known Vicky for a long time. I've worked with her many times over the years on many different jobs. And I trusted her to go there, and she's fabulous, absolutely fabulous.
Yeah, because you're right, you can't draw from it, and you had to react realistically to a bonkers situation, didn't you? But
Yeah,
I think
because
you're right. She was absolutely got it right there for me. It was absolutely fantastic, and Amy as well, wanting, knowing that what how Lisa would react. I think she played it perfectly. So hats off to the actors and to you for the direction you
absolutely.
gave
I
them.
mean, the strength of an actor, a director and an actor, the director gets to know the actor and what makes them tick to find the right reactions from them. I'd like to talk to actors about their personal lives, what they like doing outside work, so I can draw on them influences to direct them. But with
Hmm.
this, such an alien concept, there's nothing to draw on from anywhere. So we just had to busk it really, and
Did
got
it
there
take
pretty.
many takes to get right?
No, not really, because I mean, my directing style is, especially when you've got to be very instinctual with something like this. So I think if you do more than two or three takes, you're going to kind of lose the spark with the heightened level of emotion you have to give,
Right.
and an actor will lose that quite quickly. So you have to kind of capture that essence quite early and try and get lightning in the bottle. And
Mm.
I think we got close to it.
Yeah, that would have been a good one for the blooper reel, though, if she hadn't been, if we hadn't been able to hold it together. But no, when she's a cracking actress, and as I say, I think it was a really, really brilliant scene. Something else I really enjoyed about the scene, because quite often, recently in Coronation Street, there's been special effects or music that have sometimes been used to heighten particularly dramatic moments. But this one was done a lot more traditionally, I would say, and it was just down to the quality of the script and the acting. Was that your decision to, do it straight, if you like?
Oh, absolutely, 100%. I mean, I tried to do um, a lot of visual storytelling, if you like, with a lot of the blocking I did. I tried to. I'm probably getting very deep here that most people
Oh,
won't
go
notice,
ahead.
but I tried to.
Go for it.
I tried to partially block Becky on the wide shots,
Hmm.
and a lot of the time I'd coming out of shadow, coming into light, and I'd used her reflection quite a lot.
Yeah.
And I blocked scenes, I always put her in the middle of Carla and Lisa, um, and vice versa, and things like that. So I try and use these things stick subliminally a lot of the
Mm.
time. So yeah, I did that quite a lot, and I had a shot with Lisa. She had a back turn, and she had a photo of Carla behind her, and little things like that that tend to pay off. But
Mm.
she's me being a directing geek, really.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I think you're right that it sort of comes across. It's kind of subliminal sometimes. You don't notice, but then when someone explains to you, you go, "Oh yeah, that I did feel that." And yeah, it's such a clever job, and it shows how much preparation that you guys put into it.
Yeah, especially like there's a scene we did in the park where Lisa was sat on the fence and Carla was crouched down,
Mm.
and Becky came out of all the trees and the darkness behind her came into light. Almost like she was becoming real. So planned things like that. And
Clever stuff.
there was a picture in the kitchen as well that didn't have any glass in. Because obviously when you have glass on a set, it's a nightmare to film. There's booms reflecting and everything.
Yeah, yeah.
So I got them to put glass in it so I could see Becky's reflection before we saw Becky.
Oh, that's really clever. That's,
Yeah.
you were talking about that park scene earlier, and all Curry fans love it when you get to go out on location, so we can see something a little bit different. So that was a real treat on the Friday episode as well. What would you, as a director, say were some of the challenges of getting outside of Media City and filming out in the real world?
We don't get to do it that often, so it's quite cool to go out and expand the world of Weatherfield. But I think there's a lot of time because, especially what we're dealing with, was a really secretive plot, and we really didn't want to get anything out. So it was really tricky trying to keep everything under wraps, sort of trying to shoot and keep everything away from the public before they realise what we're doing.
Mm.
Logistically, the area we're in. it was a nightmare logistically to get everyone in, the trucks in and everything.
Mhm.
We needed a lot of help to get to that location because it was down a little street. It was a park in Didsbury. It was very difficult to get there, but I really wanted that park because it kind of ticked every box I needed with the covered trees and the open bit with the woodland. And as soon as I went there, I thought, oh, I can make this work. I can shoot some really cool stuff.
That would that have been like somebody different that found that part? Is it the locations manager or something? I don't know. And then you get to go and visit it and see, well, how do I bring this to life?
Yeah, it kind of happens if you have a location. The location manager will get onto it probably about a week before I start, and they'll find maybe three or four options. Then I decide which one suits me best. Sometimes you have to split a location over three or four different locations. Like when I did a show called Ralph and Katie that was on
Mhm.
BBC One. Um, Ralph and Katie's house was in South Manchester. The front of the house was South Manchester. The
Yeah.
middle of the house was in the space project in the middle of town, and the rear of the house was in Bacup.
I mean, Corrie's done that as well. Do you know the flashback episode that they had with Kit and that earlier this year? Because I think part of that was filmed in Earlham and part of it was filmed on the completely other side of the city just to get the right places. But yeah, the magic of TV you'd never know until people like us go and spoil it by saying about it on a podcast. Is it so? Would you say it's worth the risk of people or the paps or whatever possibly finding out about these shoots just to get something that looks the way that these location shoots do?
Yeah, as long as we protect the storyline massively, that's the main thing. That's what we have to shield.
Mm,
But it's nice to get you get any recognition you get and draw attention will bring attention to the show,
yeah.
essentially. But obviously, you've got to protect the main thing, what you're there for.
Yeah, especially as there was quite a big spoiler that was going on in these scenes as
Yeah,
well with
yeah.
Becky there. What was the kind of the impression that you wanted to leave the viewers with of Becky in that first episode that she appeared in, the first main episode, whole episode?
Well, I wanted to feel for a little bit. I wanted to be like super nice. Because she's obviously, as far as we knew, she was in a situation she couldn't do anything about.
Mm,
And she's returned and her world has been turned upside down. So yeah, I wanted to be a really nice person, really, and I wanted to kind of feel for her in a way
yeah.
because she's struggling. She's struggling as much as Lisa.
Mm. Did you get any details about what would be happening with her like, after your direction, after your block, so you knew what she would later become, I suppose?
No, I think when I come into any story, I don't want to know because
Mm,
I want to hit it as the audience had hit it. I don't want to drop anything else in there that would be detrimental to the current moment because as a director and actor in any TV show on or performance, you're trying to capture specific moments and heighten them.
yeah.
And if your attention's too far in the future, you're going to lose what moment you have in front of you.
Yeah, I get it. That makes sense. So I just absolutely adored Friday's episode, Jordan, and that scene in the factory as well, especially when Lisa and Becky were sitting there opposite each other on the table once Carla had gone. What kind of impression did you want to give of their relationship from how you put that scene together?
Well, I don't want it to be. I want to keep people guessing where it was going to go,
Mm,
really. Because obviously we had the nice moments where they were holding hands and she reached out to her face and things. It was a moment you could have gone anywhere, and the
yeah.
moment when Carla said "I love you" and walked away. I don't think Vicky responded that time, if I
Mm,
remember rightly.
okay,
So
yeah.
yeah, I wanted to almost break the Swarla fans' hearts at that point.
I could imagine that all across the country, people going, "No, don't do it, don't
Ah.
do it, Lisa." And so, as well as the Becky drama last week's Corrie also had all the twists of Tyrone being hit by a car, Shona revealing to David that she was pregnant. It was a real week of twists and surprises. Were there any scenes from those particular stories that you particularly enjoyed filming, or that you want to talk about?
Yeah, yeah, I kind of enjoyed doing the Betsy thing where she got. I love working with Sid. She's a tremendous actor,
Mm, yeah.
and we had to reshoot that because we had a technical malfunction with the camera.
Oh no, what happened? It's just not film it or something. Or-
It just wouldn't. It had a weird because we used the Rona. It had a weird vibration going off, but we didn't know until it ingested it and we realised it wasn't working. So as a director, you always get slightly nervous when you have to reshoot a stunt. You don't once
Mm.
you've got it, you've got it. You don't want to mess about with anything like that. So yeah, we had to do that again, and it worked out really well. And Sid took it really well as well.
Yeah, yeah. I suppose with that scene as well, I mean, we've now seen Monday's episode of Coronation Street where it's revealed that it wasn't Dylan and Brody who were in the car driving it, but it was Carl. So did you have to, was it quite hard to hide who was behind the wheel, I suppose?
Yeah, yeah, let's get yeah, I was aware of that going into it, and I think we had another tricky thing we had to do was it was hard to find when we did the low loader route with Brody and Dylan driving the car
Mm,
around Salford. It was
yeah.
quite difficult to find an environment that would fit into the Weatherfield world, if that
Mm,
made sense. Yeah, I didn't
yeah.
want it to look like warehouses and whatever else is around Salford Keys. So it
Mm,
was quite tricky to find a stretch, and then we had to get a good run.
yeah.
And it wasn't really a good run anyway, and loads of speed bumps. So we must have done about 10 or 15 takes to get to piece together a good full run of that.
Yeah, because that's quite close to the studios, isn't it? It was in Trafford Park, I think, because Corrie's been there a couple of times in the past. So I suppose canonically it is part of Weatherfield. So
Yeah, yeah, exactly. I'm
just
always up for expanding our world a bit.
yeah, exactly, exactly. It was I think it was like a stone's throw away from where they did that Peter Barlow alcoholic AA scene with Blanche. That was
Yeah,
literally just there as well. So yeah,
yeah,
no, I love that. As soon as they have a scene where it's outside of Media City, I'm like, oh, where's this? Do I recognize it? And yeah, really, so I love that. And it gave you a chance to get the speed up. I don't know how you got the speed up at the precinct no in the car because there's not that much space there, is there?
no, not all. We had a stunt driver and things, and we kind of rehearsed it. I would have liked a bit more of a run behind Sid, but so I was quite limited to what I could get. But it worked out. All right, and
Yeah.
we did a few rehearsals. The driver was very good. I posted a thing on Instagram the other day of us rehearsing it actually.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I
Yeah.
need to see that. I haven't seen it. I thought that David was on top form last week. Jack P. Shepherd, the expression that he made when he pulled that pregnancy test out of the bin, loved it. The direction of like Jack's reactions and things come from you, or does he just kind of do his own thing?
I went to the NTAs with Jack last week,
Yeah,
and I saw him when I got there. First, as soon as I saw him, I met him in the hotel reception, and I said to him, "You are an incredible actor." After I've watched this week's stuff, I mean, I realised he was a very good actor, but no, that's your question. No, it's all come from Jack. He always has instincts to do secondary movements all the time. He's always doing something
yeah.
and adding stuff to it. There was a line I had to cut um, at one point because it didn't work in story, but it was a brilliant ad lib he came out with.
Um,
Uh, but yeah,
there was,
he always adds something else to it, which is
yeah,
he's a gem to work with. He always knows the words inside out, and he always adds something.
yeah.
Uh,
I've heard this of him. He like looks at a script once and he knows it.
it's a hell of a skill. I don't know how the hell he does it. I
Yeah,
mean,
yeah,
obviously he's been an actor since he was very little, and but the thing is with Jack, he really appreciates his craft and has a love for acting, which as a director, that's what I look for
mm.
first. If you appreciate what you're doing as a craft and an art form, that's how he takes it, which is really good.
It was also when I think it was no, Sarah who tells David, well, somebody's weed on that stick, and then he goes and does all the bit of washing his hands and pumping out the soap and everything. It's just brilliant, wasn't it?
When I shot that scene, obviously he doesn't, but he unscrews the top of the soap.
Yeah.
And I said, "Oh, God," I thought I was in the car. I said, "Can we go again? Can we get the soap working for him?" And he was like, "No, no, no, I want to unscrew it and do that's what you do at home."
It's true, it's true. He knows, he knows. What about Maureen Lipman as well? Those hospital scenes with her in, she must know exactly what to do to make people laugh as well.
Yeah, I think with Maureen, all you have to do is kind of point her in the right direction, just let her go. Really, you don't want to rein her in. You just want to let her do her thing. get her there, just point the camera at her and follow her about.
Mm.
Really, that's the thing to do with her. And I think you have to. I think I've worked with Maureen quite a bit, and I've kind of earned a trust and a respect a little bit. So I just say, "Go on, give us what you've got," and she always comes up with something
Yeah.
kind of magic.
Yeah, I'm kind of getting the impression then that it's very much a collaborative effort between you and the cast. And I was talking to Adam Hussein just last week, and he said how much Jimmy likes to take over the direction of scenes sometimes. Would you say that on the whole you do try to incorporate the artists' ideas about how they want the scenes to go as well?
100%. I think any project, any really good, strong project has come from a collaborative process. And I encourage that with the crew as well. I think when I did Ralph and Katie, because it was the first time I directed a full season of anything, and what we were
Mm.
doing is very unique. I gave a speech to everybody, the whole cast and crew, before we started, saying, "Look, it's not my show, it's not Peter Bowker's show, it's our show. Everybody's opinion is valid, and I want to hear thoughts and ideas from anybody." And I encourage that because we're in a creative industry, and everyone in the industry is highly creative, and everyone has great ideas. So as much as anyone can throw in as possible, and I've obviously mentioned Jimmy. I've worked with Jimmy a lot, and he's yeah, I love Jimmy, and he always gives you something. He wants something extra that's not on the page,
Yeah.
and that's why you collaborate and let them do their thing. And you've got to remember that most of the actors there know their characters better than anybody.
Mm-hmm.
So you've got that element. You have to give them that element of freedom, and you have to trust them to get there. And they always give you good stuff once you've earned their trust and respect.
Yeah, yeah. I want to move on in a minute to talk about earlier scenes, earlier times you've worked on Coronation Street. Before we do, is there anything else from like last week's Corrie that you want to talk about, or is there any particular highlights that we haven't mentioned yet?
No, no, I think we've touched on most things. I think the stuff I was most obviously the stuff I was most proud about was the Becky stuff and the
Yeah,
again what I did with I did anybody will have noticed with the visual storytelling I
yeah,
did. Yeah, so it's I mean Corrie's obviously changed its form over the years, and obviously since COVID it's no longer vision mixed. So it gives you a good degree of freedom with what you can do now. It's basically a single camera show for the majority now.
okay.
Um, you get to explore different angles and different shots you wouldn't have been able to do before.
Yeah, yeah. It's quite funny that you were given this big Becky reveal this time because the last time you were on Coronation Street, the episodes that played out in January, there was those scenes where Lisa and Mason are talking about Becky's death, and Lisa's showing in the pictures of the blood on her phone, and he's going, "Oh my God." Did you have any inkling back then when you filmed those scenes that Becky was going to still be alive?
None whatsoever. Didn't have a clue. No, I thought there'd nothing been shot of her being killed. I don't believe before. So I just thought, oh no, it's just a back character that
Mm.
built that's adding to Lisa's character's backstory. Really, I had no clue whatsoever.
No.
None whatsoever.
Well, the Mason death episode, absolutely fantastic, superb stuff. I mean, it's been nominated for plenty of awards too, which is brilliant. It must have been such a challenge to have put that complicated timeline of events onto screen, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was because it was like the first time I'd done Corrie in 4 or 5 years
Mm.
as well. So I was coming back into it and thought this is really strong stuff here. We can, because I tend to get given stuff that's over multiple timelines. I've done Casualty over multiple timelines. I've
Like,
done Death in Paradise over multiple timelines. Screw over multiple timelines. So I've got kind of a depth to it now, and I always kind of draw out a chart to give to everybody of what's happening when,
yeah,
so everybody knows. And especially with like the dream sequence in the second half of the Mason stabbing thing, it was quite hard for people to get their head around because I spoke at length with Kate beforehand, and we were both adamant that it has to look authentic and original. It doesn't. We don't want any element of it being dream sequence at all. The
right.
audience have to think that he's absolutely fine till the reveal he isn't.
Yeah.
Um, I think we managed to pull it off quite well though.
It was because, I think a lot of people had seen preview pictures of Mason now bleeding out and Abby there calling for help. So then when he's in the precinct and looking okay, you're like, what on earth is going on here? And it later turns out it's a bit of a kind of a sliding doors thing, isn't it? Where it's alternate timeline, I suppose, of what would have happened had the knife not been there. Is that right?
Absolutely, absolutely. And my editor I had on there was fantastic. A guy called Bill.
Mm,
He did brilliant stuff with it, and we played about with it to see the best effects. Like we had the time lapse thing over the vent and things like that that we mixed up and changed things around, and it
mm,
all worked really really well. Again, that was a big collaborative effort.
yeah.
Everybody had their say and put in their views and ideas, and it all worked really well.
Yeah. So you didn't want there to be any like subtle clues that it was not reality what we were seeing then.
Not in the slightest. No, I want it to be as grounded as possible. Was kind of the plan.
So how did you try and make it then so that once it was revealed what had actually happened, that viewers understood? Because
Yeah,
it's not what we're used to as Coronation Street fans. How did you help us out?
yeah, that was what was kind of the fun element of it. I think obviously the reveal you have in the taxi when he's got blood all over him after Sally, I've forgotten her name, Sally Carmen after she turns around in the car. I can't
Mm.
remember her character's name. What is she called?
Okay, Abby.
Abby, that's it, yes. Uh, After Abby turns around in the taxi and then he's got blood all over him, and you think, oh, that was Tim and Mum. And you go, oh, what's going on here? So you've got the element of Tim becoming Abby. Then all of a sudden we jumped to did a lovely big close up of Mason, and then he's obviously somewhere else. And I think that if the narrative is clear enough at that point, you've got enough triggers, the audience can put two and two together essentially.
Mm.
Um, and we managed to, we got on a crane and things, and that took a while to film. Again, we had a few issues with the crane on the day, I think,
Mm.
um, but that worked out really well, and I think it surprised everybody with what we did and how well it came off because
Yeah.
it's they're young actors as well. Like Mason wasn't used to with these emotions really,
Yeah.
and the same with Liam plays Dylan.
Mm.
You have to really help them to kind of get to these places they haven't maybe not experienced before.
Mm.
And again, I got to know the guys and realized what made them tick. And we had got emotional conversations before we did these scenes about things that they could relate to, so they could get them emotionally to these places.
Mm.
So it's quite you'd have to deal with it in a completely different way as you would with say them scenes I did with Becky and Lisa.
Yeah.
I have to deal with it in a very different way when I was dealing with Mason and Dylan.
Mm,
Uh,
mm. It worked. I mean, because we hated Mason like the previous year with everything he'd been doing, and over the course of not very long at all, Coronation Street, your episodes, the preceding episodes, had made us sympathise with him so much. So it was like probably not a dry eye in the country when he actually
I
dies
mean,
out.
the whole point of it was we wanted to. He's a kid, and
Mm.
that's what we wanted to see a little boy wanting his mum.
Oh, that
Um,
scene where he says, "I want my mum."
yeah, I told him to watch. He'd never seen it, bizarrely. I told him to watch Saving Private Ryan.
Oh yeah.
And when all the soldiers die, a lot of them are calling for the mum,
Mm.
and the level of panic they have, and
Yeah.
the physicality they have in them scenes. I really wanted to kind of capture that.
Mm. You said earlier that Kate Brooks had a bit of input in terms of not wanting to make those earlier scenes look like a dream or anything. Was there anything else that she spoke to you about before to say, I want it to be like this?
Yeah, I mean, I speak to Kate a lot. I'm good friends with Kate, and I want again. It's I harbour the collaborative process very highly, and Kate's an amazing producer. She's one of the best I've ever worked with. So I like to discuss virtually every detail of
Mm.
things with her, and I want to give her what she wants and even more than what she wants. I mean, she said to me she'd never expected that episode, the Mason stabbing, to be as strong as it was.
Oh,
She
really?
wanted something in her mind, but she said we went above and beyond what she expected, which was a really big compliment. Because I would say it's all down to what I was given
Mm.
on the page, but she was saying it was beyond what she thought. And yeah, we discussed a lot about the I said before about the dream sequence and how we wanted to feel about Mason and how we wanted people's opinions of Mason to change
Yeah.
and things like that. And I had similar conversations with her about the Becky reveal,
Mm.
about how we wanted to feel about Becky and how we wanted to feel about Lisa. And 9 times out of 10, me and Kate are always on the same page with things anyway, and we like to discuss things. And maybe even I'd like to go through. I'll always go through with how I'm going to shoot stunts and big scenes and things. And if she has any ideas, I'll we put them in. And yeah,
Mm.
it's a really nice collaborative process. You don't. It's you always, as a director, you always want that kind of relationship with that producer director relationship,
Yeah.
um, which is really strong because Kate really knows what she wants and really knows, got a clear idea about story.
Mm.
And I trust her implicitly, so it kind of works really well.
Yeah. Well, you must have both been so pleased with the reception it received because it's just wall to wall praise, wasn't it?
It was, I've done something right, I blagged it again. Uh, so yeah, it was really, really good. So, I mean, I'm just, when I step into Corrie, sometimes at lunch I come back early on the street and think, I never ever dreamed as a kid I'd be stood here doing what I do. So it's an absolute privilege to go and work there.
Yeah, it was a really dark episode as well. A great but dark. But I suppose you must be used to that, having spent all that time with the Kate Oates era of Coronation Street, which is notoriously dark as well. Can you tell me a little bit about some of your favourite moments from your early days working on Coronation Street?
Yeah, I've got lots of really fond memories of things I've done. I think what stands out is I did a lot of with I did the Les Dennis's death, uh, which was kind of cool. I did
That's a great scene.
I did the fallout of Shane Ward's death.
Yeah,
I had loads with Phelan and Ian Kelsey, who was his friend.
yeah,
I
yeah.
did,
Vinny, you played.
yeah, Vinny, yeah. And we actually shot at Manchester Airport because I kind of insisted on it because we needed to add that element of authenticity. So
Yeah.
that was one of my favourite episodes, I think, doing that.
Mm.
And
Was that the
yeah,
episode? I can't remember because the scene that stands out to me, one of the feeling scenes that I think you were involved with was when he finds out that Vinny's double crossed him and he's in
yeah,
his van and he just explodes. That
yeah,
was you, wasn't it, doing that
yeah,
episode?
that was me. Yeah, yeah.
Oh, I love that man. What was that like to film?
But that was a really cool day actually because that day I found out I'd been nominated for a Children's BAFTA as well.
Oh,
Um,
nice.
all on the same day. Yeah, it was really cool because I've forgotten the guy's name.
Connor McIntyre.
Connor, that's it, Connor. I've cast him since in Aki Bridge. I've worked with him before. Yeah, Connor McIntyre. Yeah, he's such a wonderful actor.
Mm,
He's just a joy to work with. Again, he's another one like Maureen Lipman. You just point him in the right direction and let him go.
yeah.
And he always did a thing like this. He like tapped on his head every time before he did a take, and he liked to do it to kind of ground himself,
Oh.
which was really cool. But yeah, they were
He
really good
came
stuff.
into acting quite late as well, didn't he? But he was such a talent.
Oh, he is. He's an extremely talented man. He's an artist as well.
Yeah.
He has a wonderful art studio. And he paints
Yeah, down
big.
in Plymouth.
Yeah, really cool guy. Really cool
Mm.
guy.
Yeah, he was definitely one of my favorite Corrie characters of the past decade. Have you got any other kind of stories about working with Connor that you remember?
Well done. Uh, Nothing really unusual. I've done a lot with him, but I always trusted Connor. I always trust him, and I cast him in. I cast him in Ackley Bridge
Mm.
as one in season 4 as one of the lead characters' grandfather as a traveller. Um, Again, he just has a wonderful energy and truth about his performances, which is kind of hard to find. And he played feeling so well and coolly and calmly. He's a very
Yeah.
cool guy.
Yeah, he is. He's lovely. We've met up with him plenty of times before. He's a really good chap, and you get the idea that kind of everyone on the set, he's like a friend friend too, and he's like, hey everybody, hey how you doing?
Oh yeah, I do have the respect of everybody. Yeah, he's a really,
Yeah.
really cool guy.
Yeah.
Nobody has a bad word to say about him, I don't think.
Mm. We said you spoke a bit about Maureen Lipman and Jack P. Shepherd earlier as being actors you particularly enjoy working with. Is there anyone from the past decade or so that's maybe not in the show anymore that you've particularly enjoyed having the opportunity to work with?
Yeah, there's a hell of a lot. Kath Tilsley, I love working with her.
Hmm.
Then I love working with Danny Brocklebank.
Oh
He's a
yeah.
wonderful, wonderful, wonderful actor. We'd done lots together before, so I knew him before I even started on Corrie.
Mm.
I was working with Ian Kelsey, who played Vinny.
Hmm.
I have a really good relationship with Ian. Um, yeah, there's so many. Yeah, I could go on all day. Really,
You
with
also you did the scenes, didn't you, with Mark Bayliss when he was on the run in was it the Peak District, I think?
yes, that was fantastic. Yes, you just remembered. Yeah, I did.
Yeah. What was
I've
it
done
like to film
that.
out there? I mean, talking about going out. They seem to give you all the location shoots. Is it you demanding that you get those ones?
Well, I did that right near where I used to live.
Oh,
It was literally, I used to live in Hyde in Manchester, and that wasn't far away.
yeah.
Where we shot there, I was a 10-minute drive. I think the minibus picked me up on the way. Um, yeah, Mark Bayliss, I speak to him to this day. We text each other weekly about football generally. I live in Scarborough now, and he was working nearby, so we're going to meet up at some point.
Mm.
But the scenes we shot up there were really good. He used a steady cam on the road up there and rickshaws, and I got all the toys out, and it was a wonderful vista we had over Manchester.
Mm.
Um, but yeah, I thank you for reminding me. I'd forgotten I'd done
No,
that.
that's like, I don't think
Um,
I've watched those episodes since they were on because
yeah.
he's on the he kind of did you do the bits where he ends up bursting into the courtroom, doesn't he? As Tracy is about to be sent down for pushing Ken. Was that right?
Yes, yes, yeah. And yeah, but again, you're bringing stuff back that I'd forgotten. Yeah, I was shot in an old derelict courthouse in Ashton under Lyne, I think.
Oh.
Um, yeah, which was again, that was kind of cool because I've never done a court scene before. And then if you say you're filming in court when you director, we automatically come out in cold sweats because there's that many people and that much coverage to do.
Mm.
Um, we had like 4 cameras, I think, because there's so much to do in there. But again, Kate Ford's an amazing actor.
Yeah.
I mean, people believe that Tracy's real.
Yeah.
She's that good, and she's probably iconic. My mum always says to me, "Is that Tracy Barlow?" And I'd love to run my nails down her face. Yeah, she's still in it, mum, and she's nothing like Tracy Barlow. She's a
No.
lovely human being.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're just giving you all the big episodes. You had that. You had Adam and Sarah's wedding. That was you, wasn't it?
Yeah, I do. Yes, I did. Yeah. In fact, that was
It
the last episode I did before I had like a 4 or 5 year hiatus. That
sounded
was.
like you needed a breather from it. Do you prefer to do the grand scale episodes, or do you sometimes just like, okay, it's been people's houses today. They're walking down the street. That's okay. Or would you do like big every time you visited Corrie if you could?
Oh, I do big every time. I think when as a kind of freelance director and a kind of I'm a disabled kid from a Victorian seaside town.
Mm.
You always want to go into any job I do and prove a point and do it better than what's on the page. And I think if you
Yeah.
get the big stuff to do, it's that's what you want to do as a director. That's what you kind of aim for. So
Mm.
yeah, that's it's always a pleasure, especially when they put the amount of trust in me to pull off this big stuff is kind of humbling as a kid who's grown up on this and loves the show.
Yeah.
I want to give it my best. And I want to do my best, and it's a moment of pride you have when they say, "Oh, we've got this big episode here. Will you come and do it?" So I'm like, "Yeah, of course I will." Isn't it? Thank you so much for asking me.
Yeah. So did you you grow up watching it? Did you watch it as a kid and just kept on and now you work on it? Is that
Yeah, I remember there's kind of that a famous story in my family that I didn't want to join Scouts on a Wednesday night because I'd missed Corrie.
nice?
Uh, yeah, my dad never let me live that down, but yeah, yeah, I've always loved the show, and yeah, I mean, like even the days of buddy Rita in the cabin and Derek, and my mum even took me on the Grenade Studios tour when I was a kid. I wanted to go to Coronation Street, and
Yeah.
I still remember Norris's car with the paperclip on top.
Yeah, that was Derek's car, wasn't it?
Yeah,
He
yeah,
had his heart attack next to that car, I remember.
yeah,
That must be
yeah.
a dream come true then to get the job on Corrie after all those years watching it.
Absolutely. It's because you've got to like almost pinch yourself when you go in there because you I see it as every time I'm going there, I'm making history. I'm doing something that's iconic and it's part of British culture and British history, and it's viewed all around the world. I mean, I did a podcast in the US about this. It's got a big US fan base, and
Mm,
it's an honour to be part of that and be one of the creative leads, if you like,
mm.
and be able to put my vision across to the
Yeah.
world.
So, as someone who grew up watching it then, and anyway, it's not all about the big episodes. Are there any locations like in situ in Coronation Street that you really enjoy filming in? You're like, oh, I get to do the robots, or oh, I like really love filming in such and so and so's house.
Yeah, well, there's obviously the Rovers is amazing to film in. I always try and find angles that nobody's ever done before, but it's really getting harder and harder to do that. And I always shoot new bumpers when I go in there as
I
well.
do.
Yeah, I try and add to it. But really, weirdly, I really like shooting in Audrey's salon.
Oh, what is it about there that you like?
I don't know, you can just get really nice shots in there and different angles and things, and you play with mirrors
Yeah, there are the
and
mirrors.
stuff.
Are there any sets that are more challenging than others to film in?
Yeah, I don't know why it's just me, but I really don't like the bistro.
Oh,
Um, yeah, because it's just too almost like too open. You've
yeah.
almost got too much choice at times, and I prefer them smaller, more compact um, places to shoot in.
Mm.
There was somewhere else I like shooting in as well. Was it? Oh, 'cause I said someone the other day, but right. I
Oh,
really
yeah.
like shooting Royce, but I'm an advocate for having the fourth wall on the other side. I think it'd be
Mm.
quite nice to see because I always try and put the fourth wall in where I can. On any set, I think I did it last week on the Becky and Lisa stuff. We saw the fourth wall in Carla's house that we don't see very much.
No.
Again, it's showing bits to the audience they don't see very often, and
Mm.
adds an
I love
element of
it.
realism to it.
Yeah. Makes it feel a bit more real, doesn't it?
No, exactly. We're building a real world.
Yeah, yeah. Would you say you've noticed any changes over the decade, or production changes since you started working in Coronation Street?
Yeah, I mean, I think I mentioned before that it's not vision mixed anymore.
Yeah.
When I
Tell,
started, I
tell
was
us what that means, Jordan, because I don't know what that means. But
I was
for our listeners as well.
well, normally when you I'd come from doing single camera shows. This point when I came to Corrie,
Mm,
I always saw Corrie as like the kind of pinnacle, and I'd never done multicam before. So basically, what multicamera is, Corrie used to shoot in studio with three cameras at once. And as a director, you'd go and sit in the gallery. You'd have four monitors on a wall in front of you. You'd have camera one,
mhm.
two, and three. Then you'd have a master. Now you'd have someone sat next to you who's a vision mixer, and you had to write on your script what camera you wanted to capture each line of dialogue.
Right.
And the vision mixer was sat next to you with buttons in front of them, and they would say camera two coming up next, and press camera two. Would come to the line, might say camera three next.
Hmm.
And they literally cut it live in front of
Yeah,
you,
yeah.
which was kind of mad because the gallery was all full of energy and people were shouting numbers across at each other and whatnot. And you can put your headphones on and try and zone out on performance while they were doing the technical side of things. But so you basically did the scene in one pass.
Right.
Everything, all the shots were covered in one go,
Hmm.
which generally isn't the case now a lot of the time because now we only shoot with two cameras
Right.
since COVID. It's not vision mixed anymore, so you kind of have to kind of vision mix it in your head,
Mm.
essentially, because but it allows you to get more freedom, creative freedom. You can move into the sets because before with three cameras, you'd have to try and avoid seeing each other all the
Yes.
time.
Yeah, I get it.
Whereas if you have two, we can a lot of the time you can play two the same way.
Mm.
So gives you more creative freedom, really. So that's probably the biggest changes that's
Yeah.
happened, and obviously it's expanding a lot in the studio. None of the I can't remember the name of the street now. Is it Victoria Street? Has been
Yeah, yes.
was expanded a lot. That wasn't there when I first started. Obviously, the precinct wasn't there till I came back from the Mason stabbing. Because I remember the first time I thought precinct, are we going out? What's the precinct? And obviously, we've got the police station set. We never had one. We've got two new sound stages.
Yeah.
We never had when I started. So it's wonderful to see the amount of expansion they're willing to give the show and how much trust they have in us to basically have the whole run with the flag for ITV and the British television. Really, it's a kind of an honour to be part of. And there's a thing I was trying to do, but I can't really do it that much anymore. I was trying to put the tram in.
Oh, yeah.
Um, Somewhere I was trying to do it for like some form of impending doom. Uh, I was trying to put that in, but it's kind of tricky to do that nowadays.
Yeah. So what happened like at the beginning, just after the pandemic then? Because you were away for Corrie for 4 years. You know, you love this
Yeah.
job so much. What was the break about?
Well, I got a shot to do some other shows. I did. I came back once in the pandemic. I did because it was strange how it works in the pandemic. Although I kind of worked in cohorts.
Mm.
So one director did all stuff in studio one and two. Another
Yeah.
director did everything in studios three and four. Then another director did everything in the street.
Yeah.
So I only did one block during COVID. I had all the street stuff, but in doing so, it was covering like 12 episodes.
Mm.
So it was all mixed together. You all had parts, but it was quite cool. But anyway, I got a chance to do other stuff. I got a BAFTA for an episode of Casualty I did.
I saw
Um,
that. Congratulations.
Thank you. And I got a chance to do a show called Ackley Bridge, which was on Channel 4. I did season three and I led directed season four.
Mhm.
Then after that, the dramas kept coming in. I did Death in Paradise.
Mhm.
Uh, then I did a show called Screw, which was on Channel 4, which was a prison drama with Nina
Mhm.
Sasanya, which was really good, massive production. It was one of the biggest ones I worked on. Then I got to do my own show. I got to do Ralph and Katie.
Yeah.
Uh, and I ended up getting two RTS awards for that. Then I went to Budapest to do another show, and I moved to LA for a bit.
Wow.
I was getting some attention over there, so I went to live there with my wife and son for a while.
Cool. You've been
Uh,
busy.
yeah, then I did All Creatures Great and Small. After that, then I did Brassic. Yeah,
Oh.
so
So did
I've
you ask to go back to Coronation Street, or they were just, Jordan, come back to us, we miss you?
it properly came out of the blue. It was the Mason stabbing thing, and they phoned me up because I'd always watched Corrie and I'd always had a keen eye on it, and I got a call saying, "Look, we've got this really big episode coming up, and we'd really like you to come back and do it. Do you think you'd be interested? Tell me the story." And I was like, "Look, you don't have to tell me the story. I'll always come back and work with you guys." So it's good, and I did the block that was on last week, and I've just finished another block. It's
Oh, good.
coming
So
up.
we've got more of your work to look forward to later on.
Well,
We're
yeah,
still in this year, aren't we? We're still just
yeah,
about
yeah.
filming 2025.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, yeah.
Oh, brilliant. Well, I'm really
Yeah.
looking forward to it. Thank you so much for coming on the podcast today. Fascinating stuff. And congrats again for those episodes this year. The Mason stabbing, Becky's return. Absolutely brilliant stuff. So lovely to hear a bit more about how it was made.
Cool. Thank you. I'm just lucky to have the opportunity to do them, and I say represent our wonderful show. So it's very cool.
Thank you for joining me then. And yeah, I will let you go. Goodbye.
Well, thank you. See you later. Bye bye.
See ya. Bye bye.